10 tips Lübeck. Lübeck is a pearl, a beautiful city in the north of Germany, which is worth visiting and always worth a detour. The foundation of the city falls in the era of Charlemagne, and the name Lübeck is derived from the word Liebitze, which means the lovely, and already alludes to the charm of the city, which has remained with it until the present day. As early as the 10th century, the settlement was able to establish itself as one of the most important in the north of Germany, but was completely destroyed in 1138, but was quickly restored and became one of the most important cities of the north in Germany. Lübeck is not only the little sister of Hamburg. As a Hanseatic city, it knows very well how to charm with its brick Gothic facades and spread that very special Nordic charisma. If you are in Lübeck, you should definitely follow these 10 tips, if time permits, but you don't have to realize all 10 tips right away, because you will fall in love with this Lübeck in such a way that more stays will follow for sure. The Old Town. Located on an island of the River Trave, the Old Town of Lübeck makes a very picturesque impression. Due to its unique location and the accumulation of buildings in different styles, such as Gothic, Classicism, Renaissance or Baroque, Lübeck's Old Town has rightfully been a World Heritage Site since 1987. The Old Town Quarter is home to about 1,000 buildings, and courtyards in a lovely design invite you to linger. A particularly beautiful example is the Rose Walk. A stroll in the Huckstrasse is a city stroll of a different kind, because here you can find individual restaurants, cafes or bars. The stores are worth seeing because they are not found on every shopping street. The Holsten Gate is the landmark par excellence and of course must not be missing in the to-do list during a city visit. Between the salt warehouses, past the 2 lion sculptures, you stroll past the town hall, whose facade resembles a sugar icing. Typical are the towers, hence the name City of 7 Towers. Churches. Well, there are enough churches in the city. Not for nothing is Lübeck called the City of 7 Towers. If you want to walk on holy paths, you can choose between many churches. So there is the Lübeck Cathedral, St. Peter's Church, St. Mary's Church, St. Jacob's Church, Agedine Church. Church is always also art, and so there are many art treasures to see inside the church rooms. The cathedral can look back on a very long history, so it was already built in 1163. Film City Lübeck. What few know, Lübeck achieved quite fame as a film city. Thus, Nosferatu, a classic of silent film, was shot here, for the sake of which there is a film tour through the city to the original film locations. Lübeck gained widespread fame with the great film success of Buddenbrooks, which became a real box office hit in 2008. In addition, the Nordic Film Days are held here every year, which attract many visitors and are highly recommended, according to the motto All Film. Museums. People interested in art also get their money's worth in Lübeck. Since the city has produced some famous children and has become the center of attention through films, it can come up with some quite worth seeing exhibitions and great visits. For example, the Gunter Grass House, the Willy-Brandt-Haus, the European Hansa Museum or the Museum of Nature and Environment are all ready and waiting to show visitors something. The Buddenbrooks-Haus, dedicated to Thomas Mann's novel, thrives on history and allows visitors to inhale a whiff of Buddenbrook and immerse themselves in the literary work. Getting around the city. The best way to discover the city is on foot, because the alleyways to visit are so narrow and small that it would be a shame to miss them or not get to know them because you are just speeding through the city by car. If you would like to discover Lübeck from a different perspective, we recommend a tour with a glider or a romantic ride with a rickshaw, where you will be told everything you need to know about the city. Where to eat well. Here in the north, there are very strict quality standards when it comes to food. For example, it is a fair trade city, which means that very many gastronomic establishments such as cafes or restaurants rely on food that comes from fair trade. At the Obertrave you can sit down directly on the banks of the Trave and enjoy culinary delights. You can wave at the passing ships and enjoy your meal at the same time. In the Old Town, historic rooms entice you to enjoy a delicious feast. You should not miss the Schabelhaus or the Schiffergesellschaft, for example, as these 2 restaurants are world famous and are listed everywhere as a must for gourmets. At the old border to the GDR. The former border headquarters Lübeck-Schlutup still reminds of the old times of the separated Germany. Thus, Lübeck was at that time the northernmost border town to the GDR, and a curiosity is also that it was the only city in all of West Germany, which was located directly on the border. In order not to forget and to commemorate this strange time of the separation of Germany into East and West, you can visit this memorial every Friday, Saturday or Sunday afternoon. The port. Lübeck's port is becoming increasingly important because it is one of the leading ports in the entire Baltic Sea region. Logistics and trade are centered here, many ships and freighters move here. Although it is a business location, every port has a bit of a longing for the great outdoors, and for that reason alone there is an obligation to breathe a little of that port air that promises great freedom. Marzipan, Lübeck's sweet gold. The city enjoys great popularity among friends of marzipan. The celebrated marzipan of Niederegger can be enjoyed here in a store, a cafe to the fullest. Similar to Madame Tussauds, there are great creations here, but just not from wax, but from marzipan. The delicious marzipan is also processed and hopefully tasted in courses of further education, for example, modeling courses. Trips to the surrounding countryside and the sea. The Bay of Lübeck as a whole region is worth a trip. And if you are already in the beautiful and high north, you can also have a look at the hinterland. The beach Mecca Scharbeutz, the Hansapark in Sierksdorf, the small town Neustadt with the villages Pelzerhaken and Retten, the region at the Baltic Sea attracts with enchanting charm and tourist skills. 20 kilometers of beautiful beaches where runners cavort, children build sensational sand castles with their escorts or daredevil surfers break the waves. The sea is just waiting to be visited in Travemünde in the immediate vicinity as well. Beach promenades with bars and pubs provide a vacation feeling and beautiful hours in the fresh air with a gentle sea breeze. At the Baltic Sea, great hotels with wellness and spa, an extensive breakfast and comfort let wishes become reality and nothing stands in the way of a relaxing time. So why wait? Lübeck is waiting to be discovered by you. Immerse yourself in the historic city, sniff the maritime air and enjoy, in addition to all the attractions, the irrepressible charm of this city, which invites you to stay and which you can definitely visit more often.